Hey there, y'all, and welcome to today's Daily Down and Dirty. My name is Fairlight. Welcome to Airy Fairy Tarot. All right, y'all, the message today is to the heart of it. Honestly, and we kind of start with this 21 card. Normally 21 is the world card, which is the end, major completion of a cycle. This deck, I'm always saying this deck, she kind of took her own direction with it. So this is not the final card in the major arcana of this deck, but it is card number 21, and there is a stark truth coming through in the dark. And this being herself is even like an angel of death. So there's some sort of a death energy, some sort of an ending. It feels like a completion that's happening, and a need to see the stark truth. We may come back to this card, we'll see. Above this card, we've got the 5 of fire, and we've also got the 3 of air. So this one is normally a card of competition, 5 of wands, and this is normally a card of heartbreak, 3 of swords. Again, she kind of takes her own way. She doesn't really conform to tradition, but I kind of, go back and forth with all of these. This one definitely looks like a card of competition, or even feeling, feeling overpowered. Usually when this card comes up, I guess you can feel like the victor in a situation, but even that, it's like such a violent looking card. And so competition is putting it mildly. It really feels like being pummeled. And then that combined with the 3 of air, which does represent, heartbreak and whatever, it could really feel like you're being pummeled. What's beautiful about this card here is that you're taking an active role in this heartbreak or heartache or whatever it is. It's like taking this death energy, which again, here's this like angel of death. I noticed too recently that she's got like this third eye, just such a neat looking card. I don't know if it'll focus, but there's something about taking an active role in your own recovery, an active role in your own healing process, and learning to recognize what I'm hearing is patterns. It's kind of like educating, recognizing patterns. It's something about how can you alchemize this heartache, this heartbreak into, it's like alchemizing. How does this serve your growth, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. And then underneath this card, we've got this 3 major arcana card, which reminds me a lot of the Fool. And upright, it would be about going on a new adventure, but it just really feels like with these 2 3s and these cards here, that the new adventure didn't begin. And so then underneath this, you've got the 13 of air. So the 3 of air and the 13 of air, there's just some sort of a, almost like a mastery coming through this. So whatever it is, whatever the stark truth is that you're facing, whatever cycles are completing, while it does seem to involve a lot of pain and maybe feeling defeated, feeling like a failure, something like that, some sort of deeper understanding that sets you free. There's a purifying of self, and so it could be a big ego death as well. And then underneath that, we've got the 2 of water reverse. So definitely this could be a love situation that has come to an end. So and then that's more personified here by this card. It is the 13. Wow, so we've got some repeating numbers too, where we had this 13 of air here, and then we've got this 13 here. Normally 13 is a card of death, but like I said, this deck kind of definitely not even kind of goes its own way. But I know the name of this card is union, and so upright, this would be like 2 souls growing together, putting down roots, but that's reversed and on top of the rest of the cards. So you've got this reversal here, then you've got this reversal here, and this is the 7 of earth reversed, and then you've got this 6 of water also reversed, but then you've got the 12 of water, like the mother of water, upright. So just going to those, it feels like whatever union did not take place, whatever you weren't able to take roots in, it could be that you are kind of having a hard time processing it with this card being reversed, challenged by the alchemy of it. So it could be that it's hard to accept the defeat. Maybe you had a lot of faith in whatever this situation was, especially if it was like a romantic union or anything that is closing out cycles. This could be the way you viewed yourself. Like, this could be a union with yourself. This could be a union with what you thought was your destiny. So it could be the loss of a job. It could be maybe not seeing eye to eye with a friend or parents or children or whatever, it's just something just is no longer cohesive. And again, feeling this defeat, I feel like I just need to keep focusing on like this defeat. And why would I want to focus on that? Because usually I'm kind of a Miss Mary Sunshine. But I guess focusing on it, it's like you're not suppressing it. You're going to look at and alchemize it. What I love is that this is a fire card. And fire is not the most sustainable energy. It might be burning hot this moment, but a few hours from now it could die out. By tomorrow it could be totally dead and gone. Sometimes fires burn a lot longer, especially when they involve something you're passionate about. But just know that this defeat, this pain, this burn will not last forever. And I do like that there's some sort of an alchemy going on with this. So it feels like it calls the need to, instead of focusing on what didn't take root, it feels like there's a need to let this energy burn away. Speaking of fire, letting the pain of it, burning away the burdens that are on your shoulders. And I always like looking deeper. I have a kid that had pointed out the spots, the pattern that is on this person's arms, and it was next to another card that showed a leopard. And so it was like, wow, it's changing the pattern, it's burning away the old pattern. And then establishing, you've got this cycle of brand new, and then the ripening, and then the releasing of what's no longer is just what's dead, And so with this reversal, maybe we could look at this as a process while you are closing out these old cycles and facing the stark truth. This one stood alone, and again, this truth cuts through the dark for sure. There's a gleam to it, and so it's an ego death. I guess I could have called it an ego death, but I called it to the heart of it because, then we'll go to this next card. Then we've got the Six of Water, also reversed. So it feels like there's opportunities to nourish yourself, and for whatever reason, it's like you're not receiving. I wonder if you're still trying to, maybe you're in some sort of a denial or something, and so it's like you're still fighting for it, but it's like you're not wanting to accept defeat. Maybe that's why there's such a need to focus on this. And it's like it's hard to accept defeat, but like you're not going to be able to move into the alchemy of it until you do allow this process and allow it to be over, and then turning this around. And then it's like you're being called into yourself. And it's actually the Four. Sorry, I was reading it upside down. The Four of Water. Normally the Four of Cups is like, why accept what you don't even want anyway? Accepting less than what you truly deserve, accepting less than you truly desire. And so with this being reversed, also when water cards are reversed, there can be like a drain on your energy. And so it's like, instead of trying to nourish something back into being, so that could be what's going on, that you're trying to nourish something back into being that's just done. There's this like, and with this air energy, it's like kind of a detachment, mentally accepting it, even if your body doesn't want to accept it, even if your heart doesn't want to accept it. There's some sort of alchemy being initiated here, accepting the truth that's in front of you. And instead of the drain, it's like pouring back into yourself, really receiving. And you see that she's got this gift, and on her hand, on this bracelet, on this gift is a heart. And then we move over to this Mother of Water, and at her third eye is a heart, this glowing golden heart. So it's something, that's what I meant about, to the heart of it, to the heart of the matter. And it's interesting that first there's this gift here, and then, and while I kind of want to say you're intellectualizing the heart of the matter, it's more about a process, it's more about a vision, and it leads you to a deeper truth for you to express, her throat being illuminated also. So there's something about getting to the heart of it. I think through all of this, there's going to be an appreciation through the alchemy of it all. It's going to lead you to some sort of an appreciation of like, often we get presented with challenges, and it'll come through a lot of times if you'll just tap your thymus and take a deep breath and just attune yourself to the frequency of the solution. And a lot of times it comes through with challenges like financial challenges or whatever challenges you're going through. But this definitely is a challenge where you can tap your thymus, take a deep breath, and when you tap your thymus, you stimulate your endocrine system. And when you stimulate your endocrine system, depending on what you're focusing on, you can stimulate like serotonin and dopamine and those sorts of things, and that creates like an energetic resonance frequency, and that helps to stimulate ripples into the universe to where you're creating new realities. And so, our brains don't like that. Our brains want to know, what is the solution? What is the answer? What is the, but it kind of feels like, tap your thymus and then just remind your brain, we've been presented with challenges before and we didn't know how we would solve it. And it could have seemed like an insurmountable challenge. But somehow, one way or another, it got resolved. Sometimes it was a miraculous solution. Sometimes it was facing our worst fears and then getting to the other side of it and coming into an appreciation of like, wow, I needed all that to happen in order to get to this place here. I needed that timeline to completely dissolve, to fall apart and dissolve, so that the next timeline that was waiting patiently behind it could be revealed. And so it feels like there's a new doorway opening up for you. And as I look down, I look at this guy and this is like a stream of information, but suddenly it feels like it's a portal opening up, and you see it's like surrounding him. So it's like there's some new doorway, a new reality, a new perception opening up for you that's definitely emotionally fulfilling. And so there's a need for you to get to the heart of it and to start filling your own cup, to start allowing yourself to be fulfilled in whatever way that you can. And it looks like part of that could be by speaking truth, speaking about your emotions. And if the person or the people or the situation is not receptive to your truth, then journaling is always helpful. I love journaling. I love telling people to journal, but also spending time in nature, maybe spending time by the water, and just really allowing that nourishing energy to flow into you and truly receive, and then see yourself as this mother of the water, as this divine receiver. And the more you receive, the more you fulfill yourself, the more love you get. And then it's this heart of the matter. Then it feels like you get a greater clarity about why you even had to go through it in the first place, and then a greater clarity, an appreciation of, I'm so happy, even though it was awful and painful, I'm so happy I went through that experience, because the character building is invaluable. You can't buy that kind of character. You just have to have experiences in order to arrive at who you are growing towards becoming. All right, la 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 la. That's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, my name is Fairlight. Peace and love. Until next time.